Hi, I am making this video just to see if the kids can play around with it, see if it's working right on the website, and I am going to try and post it to YouTube, and of course I'll type that on the website when everything's final with the YouTube link and see if everything's working fine. I will, however, go through the packet because I know some kids came to school late and they grabbed it and they might need some help, and again, I don't know if this is going to work correctly, so we will see. So they have the packet that says ordered pairs, and again, we did most of this in class. So number 1 is 7-1. They are supposed to find the letter that is at that point. So I told the kids if they keep messing it up, they probably should put their actual finger on 0-0, which is the corner, which is the origin, and literally slide their finger over and do a different motion. I said like plotting it away for the Y, so that they have two different motions, a slide and like pointing, like pop, 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 popping it on up. So over 7, we would slide over 7 and pop up 1. So on this grid, we're going to slide over to 7 and we're going to go up 1, and the letter E is right there. So we did that in class. So over 7, up 1 lands on letter E. Number 4, over 4, so slide over to 4, pop up 3, and you are at letter G. Okay, so that's what we did in class. Then write the ordered pair for each point. And so I did number 6. So find letter B. How far do you have to slide over? 1. So we open parentheses 1, comma. How far do you have to pop up? And you have to do 4 pops to get to B. So climbing it up. Then number 7 is the letter D as in dog. So we slide over 2 and we pop up once, climb up once, however you want to call it. So that's what that looks like, and we did that in class. And then on the back side, we flipped it over, and it's on your own, so I didn't touch that. Then I did number 9, so we're actually plotting a point. Instead of finding the point, we are plotting it. So we slide over 3, up 4 is what 9 says to do. And so I put a point at over 3, up 4. And I'm supposed to put the letter M right there. I'm going to do it little because there's going to be a lot of letters. So there's that. Then I did number 12. X is 4, 4. So I said, can't mess this up. Over 4, up 4. So no matter what you do, you're going to have X. So over 4, up 4. And that's a little sloppy because I had to put the X underneath the dot because of the M in my marker. And then we did 16, over 2, up 9 for the letter B. So we went over 2, we slid over 2, and then crawled up 9. And then we did the letter J, over 3, up 7. And that's kind of cool, over 3. So M and J share the same X coordinate, if you see that, because they both went over 3. I know they don't have the same Y coordinate, they don't go up the same amount, they don't crawl up the same amount, but they went over the same amount, they slid over the same amount. 19 was on your own, so we're not doing that. So then we went to use the simple map below right here in class, and we said there's the music school, the library, the bus stop, and Celia's home. And it says how many total blocks does Celia need to walk north and east to get from her home to the library and home again. So we started at Celia, and every line's a block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So it took 5 over, 3 up, so it's a total of 8 just to get from Celia's house to the library, but the key was it said, and home again. So the kids realized, oh, we need to double it. So C as in cat should be the answer for that. 16. Number 2, which order pair is located on the line shown on the graph? So you see a line, and a line goes on forever, so technically it will eventually pass through 0, 0, even though it's pointing right at it. But actually on the line that they gave us, over 1, up 2 is that first point. So 1, comma 2. Over 1, up 2. Is that an option? No. One child did say that 2, 1. They were like, yes, there it is, 2, 1. But 2, 1 is not the same thing as 1, comma 2. 2, 1 would be over 2, up 1, and would land over here, which is not on the line at all. So then the next dot is over 2, up 4, and that's not an option for our multiple choice. So the next dot, the last dot, is over 3, up 6, and that is an option, and it's C as in cat. And don't be fooled of putting D, because D is the reverse. You know, it's over 6, up 3, which is not even on the line. So make sure that you choose the right one, the one you meant to choose. Number 3, in the ordered pair, 7, 2, which number is the x coordinate? I know that x is like weird looking. That's like the cursive x for typing, so that is an x that you'll see. So x, y, which means 7 is in that place. So A as in apple for number 3. The 7 is the x coordinate in that pair. Number 4 says, what is the y value when x equals 6? So this is, a lot of kids have trouble with this, but this is just make up the ordered pair for the dot on the line, that if you go over 6 and you go up to where the line is and the dot is, what is that number? So on this piece of paper, if we go over to 6 and go up to see what this dot is, we go over here and we're like, okay, it's hitting right in between 2 and 4. What number is exactly in between 2 and 4? That's right, 3, which is B as in boy. Number 5 says which statement is true. So in other words, we just got to toss out the false statements. So it says A, the x-axis is the vertical axis. Vertical is this, up and down. Nope, the x-axis is not vertical. B, the y-axis is the vertical. That is true. The y-axis goes vertical, so we already have our answer. C, though, says the x-axis is parallel to the y-axis, and that's false. But if I take out the word parallel, which means never touching, and I insert the word perpendicular, which means meeting at right angles, so they are special intersecting lines, then it would be true. But right now it's false because of the word parallel. Number 6, in the ordered pair 8, 3, which number is the y coordinate? So remember, coordinates go x, y. So y is the second number, which means 3, which is D as in dog. So that's what those last couple look like there. And then we moved on to the next page, and I said, we're not going to touch that page. That's on your own. That's for you to do on your own. And we went to this last page with Troy, and Troy walked home by walking 3 blocks down, then 5 blocks right, then 1 block down, and then 2 blocks left. And then it says, where did Troy start? And right when I said that, kids were like, what? Wait a minute. And they're trying to think through in their heads. And so the first thing was, where should we start from? And most of the kids were like, Troy's house. And I'm like, why are we starting from Troy's house? And some of them said, because we need to go this many steps. I said, no, it said Troy walked home. Troy's home is the ending point. We are ending or landing at Troy's home. So then we talked about it. We were like, I brought up a maze. I'm like, I know you have. Don't lie to me. And I said, I've done it too. On a maze, haven't we all started at the end and worked our way backwards? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, so go backwards. Start at Troy's house and go backwards. And I said, yes, and that means that flips the directions, though. If they're telling us to go right, then we have to go left. If they're telling us to go down, then we have to go up. So we start at Troy's house. And the first thing says to go 2 blocks left. So right away, we're going to go 2 blocks right. So we're going to start at Troy's house and go right. And then it says to go 1 block down, which means 1 block up backwards. Then it says to go 5 blocks right. So we're going to go 5 blocks left. Right? And then it says to go 3 blocks down, which means in reverse, we're going to go 3 blocks up. And we land at the fire station. And before you can make that conclusion, before you draw that conclusion that it is the fire station, you need to start at the fire station and actually follow the correct directions. So start at the fire station, go down 3 blocks, go 5 blocks right, down 1 block, 2 blocks left, and you do hit Troy's house. So the fire station is where Troy started from when he walked home, and the kids are like, you went a long way around. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why he didn't just go, but he didn't. So number 12, we are plotting points and connecting the dots with a straight edge. So the first one was over 2, up 1. So we plotted a point. We don't have anything to connect that to because it's our first dot. The next coordinate pair says over 6, up 11. So go over 6. And the kids are like, 11's not on there. I'm like, well, what's above 10? 11. Okay, then it's on there even though it's not written in. If you want to write it in, you can, right? And then I said, okay, now stop. Connect those dots. If we know that we are forming some kind of a figure, we should be connecting the dots along the way. And, sorry, using a straight edge here. Not doing a bunch of dots and then in the end going, I have no idea what's going to what. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect those dots. The next one, the next coordinate is 10, 1, over 10, up 1. So I'm going to put that point, and then I'm going to use a straight edge to connect back to the point I came from, which was 6, 11, that high point at the top. Okay, So that's what I did there. And then last, it says 2, 1. It did get a little cut off, but it's just the parentheses that cut off, so it should look like that. And kids were like, but wait, we've already plotted 2, 1. I say, I agree, so what is that telling you? And they were like, maybe we should go back, draw a line back to 2, 1, and that's exactly what that means. They want you to connect the dots 10, 1 to 2, 1, so that we close the figure, because a polygon can't be open. So we created this figure, so then we went through, they said it's a triangle, so I said right away, that throws out a trapezoid because that's a quad, which means 4. And then we said, is it equilateral, all sides equal? No. Is it a right triangle? And a lot of kids think a right triangle is all equal sides, which is not. That's an equilateral. A right triangle means there's a right angle in it. Only one right angle. A 90-degree angle means it's a right triangle. And then isosceles means it has at least 2 sides equal, and you can see that these 2 sides are equivalent, so that is an isosceles triangle, or D as in dog, right? And then last, we did 13 together, and we said which statement is true. The y-axis is the horizontal axis. False. The y-axis runs parallel to the x-axis. False. The x-axis is the horizontal axis. True. So we've got our answer. We don't have to go any farther, and that's exactly what we did in class today. So if you were absent or whatever, I hope you can watch this and get what you need. Have a good night.